Tonight,
we look at how one Aussie is using his experience of domestic violence to make a difference in young boys' lives.
I believe with every fibre of my being that it is my responsibility to dedicate my life to the progression of my son.
Welcome back. Zaylin Cecil was one of 17 kids, and growing up, life was pretty horrific. Somehow he came through that, and these days he's a big man with an even bigger heart. And just a warning, this story contains confronting themes.
My goal is for my son to be the greatest man that ever walked the earth. And building the type of community that someone like him, as innocent and as pure and as loving, will not be victimised.
that's such a contrast to Zaylin's own childhood. He was only 6 and staying with his godmother when he was introduced to violence.
Going through very, very graphic forms of torture, molestation, being burnt with cigarettes, being forced to a position where I would break down emotionally, start crying, and that would give her permission to beat me.
There was no escape, even at bath time.
Putting me in a cold bath for hours and hours while I sit there, mope and cry, coming in and putting a fan on me just to increase my trauma and the pain that they could put me through.
Sadly, today in Australia, 1 in 9 boys are physically assaulted or sexually abused before they even turn 15.
We were brought up with a fervent saying, what happens in the home stays in the home, and it's not to be talked about outside. And where I would near say that majority of Polynesian kids that were brought up in my generation going backwards were all brought up with a very high level of violence within the home.
Are you able to explain what the link is between it being done to you and then shaping your behaviour?
For me, I learnt at a young age, and accepted too because it was a part of my experience, that violence was a necessary currency in order to get what you want. Where love and respect fail, fear and violence usually does not.
To escape the abuse, Zaylin set fire to his godmother's backyard.
And while they were focusing on their backyard burning, I actually took off, but I just started running. And I thought that I was free, so I stopped and I slowed down and started to catch my breath. Within like 10, 15 seconds, as she pulled up, grabbed me, threw me back into the car and took me back to the hell that I was trying to escape.
There, the violence continued.
What they used to like to do was get me to put either my hands or my feet up on a stool, and then she would crush them with these metal dustpan brushes and brooms, whatever she could find.
Zaylin is now 32, and violence has no place in his life. As a mentor in the Top Blokes program, he teaches boys from Brisbane to the Gold Coast that violence and bad behaviour are not the right path.
What kind of backdoor exit can you create when you feel yourself getting to a certain position where you're about to give in to that anger?
You could walk away and go spend time with friends or family and talk about it and try to solve the issue.
These boys say Zaylin and the Top Blokes program have changed their lives.
He's pretty nice, pretty caring. He's there for you when you need him, and if you ever need anything, you always can fall back onto him.
I am super proud of everything you've achieved with Top Blokes, and just in general.
Don't cry. Can you not pull my hair?
Nick is just 13, but started getting in trouble with the police years ago.
I had a boat and I was speeding around on the water on that, and I was like going out at night with my mates and doing some stupid things.
And do you think you were sort of destined for doing more serious things?
Yeah, I think because a lot of my mates that were doing that thing have actually got into stealing cars and things like that, so I think I could have been heading down that path.
It was excellent timing for somebody other than us to teach Nick a few home truths. Talk to him about stuff that he probably didn't want to hear from us in a way that he could relate to.
I think I did pretty well on my science, maybe like an A- or something like that.
That's really good.
Zaylin understands why young men act up. Sometimes it's the most heartbreaking of reasons.
Mum used to catch more fish than all of us.
Yeah, true. We'd have any drama, she'd come to our rescue, really. She was like a lifesaver to us.
When Chris's mum passed away, he spiralled.
I was wagging a lot, didn't really do my homework, stuff like that.
Since joining the program, Chris's grades have bounced back.
Whenever I'm struggling with schoolwork or something, I just stop for a bit, go play basketball, clear my mind, I come back and I try it again.
While the Top Blokes program covers any number of topics: education, safe sex, relationships, drugs, peer pressure, alcohol, and online behaviours, for Zaylin, the most important thing is respect.
The biggest threat to a young woman is a young man, and that's not an opinion, that's a fact.
When it comes to their son Tiankim, Zaylin and his partner Bianca believe the lessons begin at home.
My son has never experienced hiding in his life, and my plan is to keep it like that because I don't think violence teaches you anything but how to be violent.
It's a simple message, strongly delivered.
As we know from men, we like to play sports, we like to do basketball, we like to meet up with the boys. I need those boys that he's meeting up with to be as strong, as masculine and as feminine and as vulnerable as I've taught him to be, or the things that I taught him won't last very long. I believe with every fibre of my being that it is my responsibility to dedicate my life to the progression of my son.
What an incredible person that Zaylin is. If this story has raised any issues for you, National 24-hour counselling and support is available. Call 1-800-RESPECT or 1-800-737-732.
And to find out more about the truly incredible work the Top Blokes Foundation do, head to our website.
You're watching The Project. We're back after this.